Okay, so here we have the cheapest IGBT inverter MIG welder here on eBay. So this was £159.99 including shipping, which is, I mean, I don't know how they do it, I honestly don't. When I consider that I bought this little flux core wire welder here around about 7 or 8 years ago, little 90 amp flux core wire welder. And this thing was £90, 90 to 100. I think it was 90. It was on special offer at the time. You can still buy these, and I mean, they're good little machines for what they are. But here we have an inverter-based MIG welder, which is a DC output. It also has the stick welding function, and it's also a gas or gasless MIG welder as well. So let's take a look at it and see what it's like. So the people who delivered this, they pretty much kicked the shit out of it, honestly. It was TNT. Box of accessories. So you get a lovely welding mask. To one side. And you get your stick electrode holder, which, I mean, it's quite, what does it say? It's a 300 amp electrode holder. It's got a nice bit of copper in there. Looks pretty strong. Actually says Germany on there. Don't know. Could it be made in Germany? Well, the electrode holder anyway. And then we've got some cable on there, which is just 16mm copper cable with the, what are they now? Can't remember now. They're DINs 1025s, so it's the smallest connector you can get. Obviously, at £159 delivered, you're not going to get anything that decent, and you're probably getting about 1.5 to 2 meters at most. So you know how long it is. Yeah, 1.5. So 1.5 on the electrode holder, and then we've got the earth or ground here, which also is around 1.7. So obviously you're probably going to need to replace these at some point, or if you've got a piece of 16mm wire, extend it with some crimps or something. But I would probably suggest buying new wire. At the moment it seems to be quite cheap for some unknown reason, 16mm welding wire. You also get a nice little chip and hammer with brush on it, wire brush. That'll come in handy, possibly. And then also here we have the Euro style MIG torch. And I mean, obviously, when you consider that a decent Euro MIG torch can cost you, you know, £150 for a brand name one. But here we're getting the torch as well as a welder for £159.99. Also, there's a couple of spare tips there. I'll just get this out of the way. And also there's a manual in there, and as you can see in the bottom there, the box has been pretty bashed and dropped because the welder has fell through the cardboard box. I mean, it's not particularly well packed, I wouldn't say. You know, it's not got a lot of padding in there. It's got a reasonably thick walled cardboard box, but that's about it. And yeah, this has been pretty much kicked about by the delivery company as well. So we found these two bits of plastic as well, also in the box. So you can tell that it's been dropped. I mean, the box doesn't look particularly damaged, but there are some, you know, like bruises on the box. It shows where it's been dropped or whatever. But the plastic has actually come from underneath here. Just in here, there's these little strips here. Right, so we'll take a look around. So there we go. I mean, it looks reasonably nice. There's a little dent down the bottom here, actually. I don't know where, there's a small dent up here as well, where the screw has either been screwed in too far, or it's been hit here. There's the gas inlet for your argon CO2 or argon, depending on what you're welding. Seems to be a 120 volt outlet there. I don't know what that's for. Interesting. Power switch here. A little fan here. It gives you the duty cycles on MIG side. You get 100% duty cycle at 103 amps. And at 180 amps you get 35% duty cycle. On the MMA or stick welding you get 100% duty cycle at 89 amps and 35% duty cycle at 160 amps, and the total input power is 15.7 amps. So obviously we're not going to be able to run this at full power on a 13 amp socket. You would need a 16 amp hookup for that, but we should, I mean, you'd probably be able to run it up to, I don't know, 150, 160 amps, I'm not sure. And then we come around to the side panel where the spool goes. So it looks like it will, yeah, but it should definitely take a 5 kilo spool in there, because that's a lot larger opening than on my flux core wire welder. Alright, so now you can see the wire feeder assembly. It's quite a nice unit, and I don't know if you can see down the back there where the light is at the point at the moment, but there's rather beefy 1.5 amp 24 volt motor in there, and it's definitely larger than in my other two hobby grade welders, so it should be able to push the wire through consistently. The spool holder is all plastic, it looks like, with a threaded metal rod through the centre, so it should be quite durable. And then also up the back there you can see where you change the polarity. It's quite a tight fit in here. And we come around to the front. Okay, so let's switch it on. So we've got the Euro connection down here to plug the torch into, and then the other two connections for stick welder and for the MIG welding as well. Up here we've got a LED display and then a feeder button. I presume this is for when you put your spool of wire in there and you first feed the spool through the gun. Usually they have these inside the side panel, but obviously on this one it's on the front here. Up here we've got your MIG and stick welding switch. Here we've got a little LED here to tell us when it's overheated. Down here we have feed speed, wire speed. Nothing happens when you turn that, so. And then here we've got the current. Alright, that changes. So it goes from 0 to 204. And then here it says inductance. I'm not completely sure what that is. I've never had that on a welder before. So I'll quickly set this up with some flux core wire and test it out. Okay, so pressing the wire feeder button in the front there. There you go, wires through. Okay, so I've got my argon and CO2 hooked up, and I've also got my solid core MIG wire in here now at 0.8mm. So let's take a look at some of the welds that I've done. So this is the welds with the flux core wire. Now I don't pretend to be any good with flux core wire. I can never really see the puddle properly. So these are what I've done, and I couldn't really get it dialed in properly because I hadn't had enough time with the machine. But they're not, they're not overly bad. I mean, as you can see there, it wasn't hot enough, and it's not too good. It's getting a little bit better here. And also here, these were getting slightly better, but nothing to write home about. Ignore that, that's completely nothing to do with this welding. And so not particularly good on the flux core, but that's not the machine's fault, that's my fault. So now we'll go over to the solid core MIG wire, which is where I'm a little bit better at. So these are the welds. These here was just where I was trying to set the machine and dial it in properly. So there's a couple of beads there which come out reasonably nice actually, not too bad at all. And there's a lap joint there which seems to come out reasonably good. Another one there, and a bead beside it. And yeah, not too bad, not the best, but not the worst either. So then I was starting to get the machine dialed in a bit better. So I come up with these welds here, which aren't too bad at all. And then this come out particularly good. I mean, these are on machines that I own myself. These have got to be, because I've only got hobby grade machines, these are like the best welds I've ever laid down, I've got to admit. And I think it could probably put even better welds down than this in a person who's proficient at welding. Yeah, it's not too bad at all, so I mean I'm pretty happy with it, I've got to say. The welder, the machine is definitely better than the welder anyway, I would say. The wire feeds nicely and it's got a nice smooth arc. I may not have had it completely set up right because I'm not used to this machine, but yeah, I mean it looks really decent for the money. I did actually put some cloth over it while I was welding next to it because I didn't want to get weld spatter all over it. But yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised with it, I've got to admit. And also, my gloves are a bit burnt up, so my finger was getting scorched, so that weren't helping. Just a small excuse there, you know. But yeah, I mean, it seems like a decent machine. I mean, I had it set up to 140 amps, and I don't know, the wire isn't. It's got graduations on here, and it's 0 to 10, so it's like on 7 or something around that area. The wire feed was, and the current, as I said, was 140, and the inductance I just sat in the middle because I'm not really sure what effect that has on the weld, so I thought if I stick it in the middle, then, you know, 50-50 chance. Yeah, so I mean, if you're interested in getting one of these, if you go onto eBay and search IGBT inverter MIG Welder, you're bound to find it because it's the only one that's £159.99. So, I mean, I can't really, you know, say the quality of the machine, how long it's going to last, and that I don't know. It comes with a 1-year warranty. I'm not sure what that's worth, you know. I just took a chance on it pretty much, as I couldn't really afford a £600-700 welder, so I just, you know, took a chance, and we'll just see how it goes. If anything goes wrong with it, or I have any problems with it, I'll make another video in the future. Yeah, so I just want to say thanks for watching. Please comment down below and let me know what you think of this machine. What you think of my welding. No, nothing about the welding. I know it's not very good. But yeah, comment down below. Please subscribe, and then if I make any more videos on this, I'm probably going to make a video on the stick welding side in the next couple of weeks, and I'll probably be making some projects with it, like some rocket stoves and some other stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.